And hello and good morning. I'm David Boles, and this is Boles.tv. B-O-L-E-S dot T and a V. Well, we've had a very eventful morning so far. Our lights went out again. Our Elgato beautiful lights. We had to update the software, and the software resets everything, and then you have to reset the Wi-Fi network and use the app on your phone, and then turn it on your Mac. And it's just a little bit strange. But so far, so good. Then, our slipstream music doesn't want to shuffle. It'll play once and not shuffle. So I finally figured out, well, maybe if I just press play and let the playlist play in the 72 song recorded order that I set up, maybe that'll work. But right now we're in the middle of a 30-minute song, so it will be interesting to see if in 30 minutes another song plays or if I'll have to go in there and start another song. And most of the songs I've picked on Slipstream are a minute long for some reason. There's Dora. Good morning. Dora doesn't hear it. It is a little low. It looks like Slipstream has been making changes. So let me just turn up the volume a little bit. Their volume slider is much more sensitive now. It used to be like 4 segments, and I wanted the first segment. And the first segment was always just a little bit too loud. But now it looks like it's very soft and very controllable. So I'll go to the end of this song, just because we're here, and we'll see if the next song plays or not. Well, it's not doing anything. Maybe I'll just go back to the beginning of the song and play it that way. Well, now it's not playing whatsoever. Well, that's no fun. So that means we're going back to Pretzel Rocks. And Pretzel Rocks, we like at about 6%. We like the chill vibe. And now we're rocking like there's no tomorrow. Hey, it's the wonder of live streaming. If this were a video, we'd stop and go back and redo it all over again. But this is the fun of being here. Talking with our friend Dora, who says she can't hear the music, and I know why. And now we can hear this relatively well. If it gets too loud, let me know. At least it looks like the music is playing. Dora will tell us if the music is not there. So we had light issues, we had a little bit of music issues, but here we are, ready to go. It's Friday. Dora hears the music now. That's very good. Yay! We've done something right so far. And we have a very interesting show. Janna Marie will be here at 10:15. Roundabouts. And she's going to be doing a very interesting hardcore ASL lesson tutorial, sort of, on NFT art. And how you would describe, I'm seeing if I have a photograph here. I do have a photograph over here. I'm sliding over. The beauty of live television. Live broadcasting. And she is going to sit here and describe in ASL how you would describe a piece of artwork like this in NFT. What would you do? How would you describe that? Using classifiers and colors and making it work. You show the whole thing, top to bottom, right at the beginning, so everybody sees what we're talking about. Setting the stage for the Janna Marie lesson. And this is an NFT from my friend Sabet, my new friend, S-A-B-E-T, very active, has a lot of interesting artwork. So Janna will be describing that one today, and some others, some of our other favorite NFT artists. Checking my stats. Our frames per second is 56, which is okay. We have 0.1% of dropped frames, which is not great. Our upload is okay. Our CPU is pinning at 42%. I have no idea why. Maybe it's all of our music problems we were having. We'll see. If we start glitching or getting chunky, you know what's going on. And we we might have to restart. So let me make sure that Slipstream is off. So we don't have any conflicts with that. Right. Well, Pretzel Rocks is playing. That's good. I don't know why our CPU is so high. Might be my magnetic personality that's making it bubble to the top. I don't know. So, Dora and I were talking yesterday on Twitter about these NFTs and celebrities. And I wasn't going to really talk about it too much today because the articles themselves were brilliantly written, and I really don't have anything to add except how fascinating it is in our current society where celebrities, famous people, usually movie stars and musicians, don't pay. That's the rule. They go into a restaurant, they don't pay. And in many ways, the same is true of police officers in New York City. Even though they're not allowed to eat for free, they eat for free. Because the restaurant owner wants a cop sitting there eating in their establishment for an hour or two. So celebrities never pay. And this NFT thing is sort of taking off because it's become an identity thing, the Bored Ape Yacht Club. And these celebrities are sort of being paid, not saying anyone specific, under the table with these NFTs. So they're not paying for the NFT, so how are they getting paid? Well, they're getting value in companies and friends and outsiders and managers who are gifting them these NFTs, which has value. And the FCC or the FTC or the IRS, all those government agencies are very interested in this because it's a way to pay somebody money under the table without any taxation on it. And without really any formal record of a transaction of money for value. Now, the thing about the blockchain and Ethereum and Bitcoin is that you can trace where the money comes from. You can track who has what, when, and where. And that's how some of these internet sleuths got on. And in one instance, they tracked Justin Bieber and his 1.3 million purchase of an NFT Bored Ape. Now, what's interesting about this is not that he paid $1.3 million for it, because these researchers kind of found out that he didn't pay for it. It was given to him. And the question becomes why, especially why, that the ape cost 100 Ethereum and Justin Bieber, whatever, the Justin Bieber ape, let's put it that way, paid 500, so almost 5 times more than the floor price of that particular ape. What's going on? Who's doing this? Why did this transfer happen? Is this a company paying Justin Bieber or other stars for promoting them, for being a part of their company? And this is the way that they're being paid, by giving them an inflated value of an ape. And it seems a lot of the research says, well, there's something going on, because when you track the wallets and where the money goes and where it comes from and who transfers what to whom, well, you start to see a pattern there. And it's very interesting, and it's going to get more sticky as people investigate these NFTs. And in one of the stories, they talked about Gwyneth Paltrow. And some people hate her, some people love her, but hey, she's successful. And here we are, this is her Twitter account. And she has her new NFT there as her icon. And I have one too, as I've shown you. Here, we'll go to my profile very quickly. That's mine. The silly red and blue man. I don't know if it's a dog or a cat. Maybe a monster, which is what I am. So going back to Gwyneth, people are wondering, where did she get this? Did she pay for it? And there are some people who believe she did not pay for it, but it has great value. And you know that because on Twitter, you can click on that person's profile image and you can get more information about it. So this is very interesting. It's all out in the open. Where things come from. How much things cost. And this is Gwyneth Paltrow. I guess she thinks it looks like her, or somebody does. I believe the idea is this was gifted to her. She did not pay for it outright. If I'm wrong about that, I stand corrected. I think Dora read the article. So if I'm getting anything wrong, Dora, correct me. So this is the image, which I think is very beautiful. It works perfectly as a profile image. And you can see view NFT details right at the bottom. So we're going to. So you click on that, and this is where you start to get information. You got the creator ID. Gwyneth Paltrow, the collection. It's part of the Flower Girls by Flower Girls, a verified collection by OpenSea. There are 10,000 Flower Girls created. 20% of primary and secondary profits are donated to a range of children's charities. 5% of primary and secondary profits used to collect children's NFT art. Properties, Flower Girls. So this is all the information about this piece of artwork. It's all verified. The skin tone is warm pink. The background is dusty rose. The eye color is winter gray. Her lip color, Turkish rose. Her companion is an insect. I believe it's a butterfly. Excuse me. And the category is Flower Girls. See more. Hairstyle is Venus. Her flowers are geranium. Dress striped. Rarity rank. Number 1 is rarest. This is 7,788. Not that rare. NFT details, contract address, the token ID, the token shared. Blockchain is Ethereum. What is an NFT? NFT is short for non-fungible tokens, digital items you own, proof of ownership. Is stored on a blockchain, a digital database that is publicly accessible. Now remember, ownership is you own this piece of the blockchain. You don't own that piece of art. And that's okay. It's the same thing when you buy a CD. You own the CD, which happens to have music on it. You do not own the song. So I want to go up here and go back to this creator link at the very top and just see where this takes us. It's taking us to OpenSea and Flower Girls. And they recently joined a couple of months ago, and these are the Flower Girls. These are the collected. Let's see what they have created. And this is where Gwyneth got her Flower Girl. So these are very interesting. These range in price, I believe, from like $1,200 to $1,500, which for someone like Gwyneth Paltrow is not a lot, but for most of the rest of us, that's a lot of money. Now, some of these are very cheap, 005, but that's maybe $200. Almost 5, but one Ethereum is about $3,000, so this particular image you see is about $1,500. This whole NFT thing reminds me of the Cabbage Kids craze. That's a very good point. That's very, very interesting because they were unique. You adopted them, and then people tried to resell them. And they were more unique than like the Beanies Baby craze because those you could buy a lot of those. And some were unique and some were not unique. But the Cabbage Kids were supposed to be all absolutely unique. The blue faces intrigue me. This is about $1,500. And you can buy this and use this as your profile picture on Twitter if you like. You have to connect your Ethereum wallet to your Twitter account. But I'm learning that's not a big deal. When you go to these NFT for sale sites, you always have to connect your wallet. Your wallet ID. So your wallet address is not secret. because that's how you pay for stuff and that's how people know what you own and what you don't own. So sharing your wallet address is nothing. It's like sharing your email address or your shipping address. It's not a violation of privacy in any way. Now, if people and scammers on these Discord servers try to give you a hard time and get information out of you and say, I need your seed phrase, now that is very dangerous and very different. It's a series of 12 random words that allow you to recover your wallet or allow someone else to take control of your wallet if they know your seed phrase. So never share your seed phrase with anybody. Nobody reputable will ever ask you for your wallet seed phrase. Never. So store it someplace safe, because if someone knows your 12 words, they own your wallet. But knowing your Ethereum address is not a big deal. So these are the flower girls, and they're actually, in the scheme of things, rather affordable. This one's very interesting. I like that. The woman herself is a butterfly, but that's a little expensive. That's probably, I'd say, $2,000. Okay, so that's Gwyneth. And the last thing about Gwyneth, it's very interesting, is that, oh, there's her NFT, her profile pic, is this one. So she also has a Bored Ape. And these Bored Apes are super expensive, but she's not using her Bored Ape as her profile pic. There's an article today on Twitter about the dark side of NFTs, thefts, assumings, assaults. Oh, that's very interesting. Yeah, the easy way is to get control of someone's wallet by faking them out and making them give you the seed phrase. And it happens a lot because this is very new and people are not experienced with it. But when you're dealing with some of these artists, and we're going to talk about some of them today with Janna Marie, like Sabet and Wes and SoulCurry, they're very knowledgeable about all of this. And SoulCurry said it took her about 6 months to figure out how to do all of this, but now she's an expert. And there's minting, and there's rarity, and there's one of one, and there's one of 500. Really fascinating. So these Bored Ape things, are they animations? I've never seen it animated before. And maybe it's because only when you purchase it you get the animation. I don't know, but the animation does make it a little more fun. So I guess this is what Gwyneth thinks she looks like as an ape, with the blonde hair and the gray eyes and the long lashes. Fascinating. I admit I'm fascinated by the whole thing. I can't say I understand it, but it's very interesting. And Dora says it's actual physical attacks. I guess it goes with the territory. Yeah, this is big money. And there are young kids who, who make artwork and mint their NFTs and put them up for sale. And if the kids, a lot of this is driven by kids, if the kids like what they see, they throw down money. And there have been young teenagers who make $100,000 in a day by selling their NFTs on OpenSea. So it's the Wild West out there in NFTs, and the government is behind, and the government is going to try to catch up. Now, the government knows if you're spending and buying cryptocurrency, because you're going to get a letter, a 1099 form, at tax time to say, hey, you spent $25,000 buying NFTs last year, and you owe us tax on that. But who has the money? Not a poor artist. Well, a lot of these artists do get the money. It can be very lucrative if you just hit the right tone with what people want. And I cannot believe some of this artwork that is getting a lot of money, because it's strange and pixelated, and it doesn't make sense to me. But it's popular. And once it sells out and you can't get it anymore, Then that's what they call the secondary market, where people will try to flip an NFT, even just to make $100 or $200. But if you get a hot NFT in a good series, you could double your money. At least that's the idea behind it. It's shock value. Yeah, that's what Dover says. That's very interesting. So when we click on Bored Ape, the Bored Ape Yacht Club on the Twitter, we can see that they don't have an NFT avatar, which I find very funny. They should have one. Gwyneth has one, I have one, they should have one. And you can join their Discord group. Not art, but then look at Warhol. Yeah, Andy Warhol was very interesting. I know a guy who worked with him at the factory. Loved Andy Warhol. And this guy's a film teacher and makes Andy Warhol-like movies. And I don't understand it, and my friends don't understand it. It's waves on the ocean going one way, waves on the ocean going the other way. Forward, reverse. Forward, reverse. And we sit there and watch this for 20 minutes in the art gallery. And we're looking at each other like, how is this art? Why is this a movie? Why do we have to watch this? And then, oh no, it's genius. Absolute genius. Oh, Janna's going to teach you ASL, our Boles bot says. So here we go, Bored Ape Yacht Club. I guess this is what the apes look like in 3D, which is sort of interesting. And then I have one more thought on this, but right now I've got to take a very brief blood pressure break. Returning in a moment. We are back from break. I'm David Boles. This is Boles.tv. Live and in person, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern, right here. With you and for you. I was trying to find the article that I read yesterday about the Bored Ape Yacht Club making a change in how they're going to be selling the remainder of their NFTs. And it was something like they're going to set a floor price of $12,000, which for the Bored Ape Yacht Club is very cheap. Jimmy Fallon spent $200,000 on his ape. We know Justin Bieber was paid $1.3 million for his ape. He did not pay that money out of his own pocket, it appears. And so the floor is going to be set at $12,000 per ape. Everybody can buy, and when people are not buying, after a certain amount of time, then it just gets lowered and lowered and lowered and lowered, I guess, to give more people access to this whole idea of what they want to do. Because they can't have the Bored Ape Yacht Club full of celebrities. They need people to participate. They want to get into activewear, and I read they're going to try to get into the marijuana business with branding. So they can't have a bunch of celebrities owning their stuff at these elite prices. You got to have people on the floor, the young kids who are excited and who want to be a part of the Bored Ape Yacht Club, but they don't have $12,000. So I guess some decision was made in the community to set the floor price and then just keep lowering it and lowering it and lowering it until everybody can get in who wants to get in, I guess. It's very interesting. So enough of that. I saw this yesterday and thought it just slightly odd. This is a new robot that they call a lip-syncing robot. Artificial intelligence. So somehow this robot is not pre-programmed like the animatronics that you see at Disneyland, Disney World, where the presidents speak and their faces move and it's all timed to a recording. This is a, they say, realistic looking, I don't know, what, android man, who will then move his lips to whatever sound that you happen to be playing, which is supposed to make it interesting AI and to bridge the uncanny valley into the disturbing valley. And we'll look at this and see what you think of it.
Hello, my name is Euclid and this is me with all my components working together as one. I look old enough to star as Arnold Schwarzenegger's body double in the Terminator Dark Fate.
Okay, so the creator of this avatar thing is just speaking to us through him. And the artful part of this is that the...
Hello, my name is Euclid and this is me with all my components working together as one. I look old enough to star as Arnold Schwarzenegger's body double in the Terminator Dark Fate.
And the spectacular thing about this is that the lips and body move realistically with the sound of a voice that is not pre-programmed. That is just randomized.
Hello, my name is Euclid and this is me with all my components working together as one. I look old enough to star as Arnold Schwarzenegger's body double in the Terminator Dark Fate.
Now, does that look realistic to you? They say it's the most realistic AI robot live lip syncing that we've ever seen to date. Maybe it's the glasses that make it
my
real.
name is Euclid and this is me with all my components working together as one. I look old enough to star as Arnold Schwarzenegger's body double in the Terminator Dark Fate.
I don't know. I think it's a little weird. I'm not convinced. But that's the hot new thing. People are talking about it. Well, we've also talked about dissent and book burning and censorship all over the world, especially yesterday, and specifically here in the U.S. about Mouse and some other very interesting books. And it's a concern. And somebody wrote this wonderful excuse me, wonderful, wonderful letter to the editor, I believe this is a Canadian person, about the idea of dissent and how these authoritarian people and governments do not want you to say anything that they don't want you to say. And so I'm going to share you. This is a letter from the editor dated January 26. Your correspondent references the Age of Enlightenment as an era when inquiring discourse was encouraged. While this is generally true, one fears that she has perhaps forgotten that the ultimate event of the Enlightenment was the French Revolution, and in particular, the Reign of Terror. Remember that? In 1792, challenging the orthodoxy became a political problem for the powerful Jacobins. The basic understanding of the Enlightenment was that typical humans were rational and fundamentally good. Hence, a government of typical humans would necessarily be rational and fundamentally good. Its new Bible was the Declaration of the Rights of Man. It necessarily followed that anyone who opposed the Jacobins was clearly opposed to rational and good judgment and good government. But when opposition to the Jacobins' stridency increased, so did the response. Dissenters were arrested and tried for treason. And when that failed, the true reign of terror began. New laws declared that being denounced was a verdict of guilty, and the only allowable sentence was the guillotine, cutting off your head. Does that perhaps sound just a little familiar? We live in an age where holding, or worse, expressing the wrong views can result not only in being denounced, but in having life stripped, not by the guillotine, but by loss of employment, being publicly shamed, being forever exiled from public life. That's the Me Too movement. There are no fair and open trials. It is enough that one is denounced, and there is only one possible sentence. And as in 1792, the mob is there, fueled by tribal energy, to ensure that the ordained verdict is carried out. The French soon learned from their error. The Jacobins were ousted, and many themselves lost their heads. We do not appear to be such apt students. Tom Curran, Prince Edward County, Ontario. Excuse me, beautifully said. Love that, absolutely right. And what are you going to do? That's where we are today. Well, we used to live in a neighborhood where there were a lot of dogs, and there are a lot of dogs in our current building too. But where we lived, there was this great big giant Dalmatian, beautiful dog, and this woman lived around the block from us. And twice a day, she would walk her dog from her house around the corner, come right in front of our apartment, and poop and pee her dog, not her, well, maybe her, I don't know. And her dog would poop and pee right in front of our open window, twice a day. And she would pick up the poop, but she would leave this giant puddle of urine right there outside of our window. And you have the window open, and you would smell it. And so one day I just went out there and asked her, I said, why? I know where you live because I've seen you in the neighborhood. You live right around the block in that apartment. Uh-oh, Dora has a fire drill. See ya. Bye, Dora. And so I asked her, I said, why do you bring your dog around the block every day, twice a day, to come here and poop and pee right in front of our apartment? Why? Why don't you walk your dog different ways so maybe the poop and pee is spread out all over the neighborhood. And she looked at me like I was an idiot. I said, can you please not have your dog come and pee on our stuff twice a day, please? Why don't you poop and pee in front of your apartment and see how you like it? Why do you have to walk your dog away and come to our apartment? She was unmoved. We left very quickly after that for a new home. But now in Belgium, they've done some research on this pooping and peeing of these dogs and finding that it's ruining the ecosystem. Researchers at Ghent University have estimated that each year, dog feces and urine add an average of 11 kilograms of nitrogen and 5 kilograms of phosphorus per hectare to nature reserves near the Belgium city of Ghent. Researchers say that nutrients added through this neglected form of fertilization are substantial and could be detrimental to biodiversity and ecosystem functioning. Estimates for the amount of nitrogen being added by this previously unrecorded source are particularly significant when compared to the total levels of nitrogen being added across most of Europe through fossil fuel emissions and agriculture, which range from 5 to 25 kilograms of nitrogen per hectare. We were surprised by how high nutrient inputs from dogs could be, said Professor of Ghent University. Atmospheric nitrogen inputs from agriculture, industry, and traffic rightfully receive a lot of policy attention, but dogs are neglected in this respect. The researchers call for land managers, especially in low-nutrient ecosystems, to emphasize the negative fertilization effects of dogs to visitors, encouraging them to remove their dog's feces. They also call for leash laws used to enforce more stringently in the establishment of more off-leash dog parks to reduce the pressure on nature reserves. And so my humble request to you as a big nobody in the world is, if you have a dog, have it poop and pee in a neutral place. Don't go in your neighborhood and poop and pee on trees, on the streets, and sidewalks because it really ruins all of the flora and fauna. But what do I know? Not a dog owner. So I'm being hotboxed by my neighbor again. So I hear from the Google yesterday, and I rarely hear from the Google, unless it's an invoice or they're trying to sell me something. But this time they need my help. And I'm thinking, Google, hey Google, how might I help you? Well, the Senate Judiciary Committee recently voted to move forward a bill that would have unintended consequences for businesses like mine, like yours, that use digital tools to reach customers. This is all about advertising and privacy. So they're making this my problem now. This is not something I care about. I like privacy for consumers. A similar proposal has already made its way through the U.S. House Judiciary Committee, so the threat is real. Real to Google, not to me. If passed, these bills could disrupt many of the digital tools you rely on every day, including Google Ads and Analytics, Gmail and Docs, and your business listing on Google Search and Maps. These changes could make it harder for customers to find your business, hurt your productivity, and cost your business time and money. If you're interested in learning more about these bills, their impact on your business, and what you can do about it, we invite you to sign up and stay informed. I did not click the button, but maybe I should go back and click the button so I can stay informed. So I did a little bit of research, and I guess this is what they're upset about. The Senate Judiciary Committee on Thursday voted to approve a bill that would rein in app stores of companies, they said, that exert too much market control, particularly Apple and the Google. The measure, sponsored by Democrat Senators Richard Blumenthal and Amy Klobuchar, along with Republican Marsha Blackburn, would bar big app stores from requiring providers to use their payment system. Blumenthal noted 30% of the cut that Google and Apple take from any app and in-app purchases and subscriptions, saying it was a monopolistic power, and raises prices for consumers. So it's about the App Store and it's about advertising. They don't want you to be tracked. Google has already lowered commission it charges for apps using its payment system, even though it will reduce revenue. We made our concerns to Congress clear. This bill could destroy many consumer benefits that current payment systems provide and distort competition by exempting gaming platforms, which amounts to Congress trying to artificially pick winners and losers in a highly competitive marketplace. So I found this meeting. Here's a video of the Judiciary Committee, and we'll just listen to a little bit of it. I think we can. We pay for this. It's part of our world and part of our life.
Has facilitated an explosion of online content by allowing even the smallest website owners to monetize the content they produce. Small and local businesses have also benefited from being able to quickly and easily promote their businesses without any of the same capital investments that would have been required and indispensable for that effort just a few decades ago. So, at the same time, this growth and this expansion has been largely consolidated onto a single platform, Google's online ad business.
Here we go.
As that business has grown, so too have complaints that Google, which both operates the ad selling and ad buying platforms and sells its own inventory through those platforms, has conflicts of interest and thus has manipulated or rigged online ad technologies and auctions to favor its own interest and protect its own market share. Whether this is true or not matters, because so many businesses depend upon digital advertising to market their products or to monetize the content that they produce. Web users, in turn, benefit from free online content and being connected to relevant businesses in a way that helps them to make optimal business decisions. Simply put, markets function better when businesses thrive and consumers are informed. Ideally, online advertising helps accomplish this. If, however, online advertising has been monopolized and constrained by opaque pricing and exclusionary conditions, everyone loses to that degree. I'd also add that Google and other big tech companies have been accused of a number of bad acts unrelated to antitrust or to competition. I myself have repeatedly expressed concerns about an anti-conservative bias by these firms, and I'll continue to pursue those concerns. But while I believe that issues like anti-conservative bias certainly have implications for antitrust, such as perhaps evidencing market power, today's hearing is not fundamentally about those concerns. This hearing is about an analytically distinct issue. It's about antitrust allegations in online advertising that are a legitimate subject of inquiry in their own right. And to be clear, just as I reject demands to use antitrust for social justice, I also emphatically reject using antitrust to solve other non-antitrust concerns. Today's discussions will, I hope...
So there you go. It's all right there, very clearly and explicitly shared with you about what is going on and why Google is terrified because they're going to lose their business. Because their business is tracking you. And it's not just Google, it's Apple and it's Facebook. And Facebook's trying to get into the metaverse in Europe and France, and they're saying, look, you have to let us in, you have to let us track your people, and France said no. And Facebook said, well, then we just might leave. We'll just block everybody in France. And France said, go ahead. People are getting fed up. Have you heard about the locust swarm? I didn't know anything about this, but locusts are biblical in nature and perfunctory in aspiration. Researchers at Tel Aviv University found that the microbiome of a solitary locust undergoes a profound change when the host joins a group. Bacteria called Wasella, almost completely absent from the microbiome of solitary locusts, becomes dominant in the gregarious phase. So a single locust is not a threat, but when you get a gang of them, they infect each other, and their gut biome changes, and their behavior changes. Now, are we talking about locusts, or are we talking about people? Because we see that. People get upset, and they're by themselves. They deal with the reality a little bit better, and then they get into a group, and they start storming places and protesting, and their entire functionality changes. Moreover, a specially developed mathematical model indicates that swarming provides these bacteria with potential evolutionary advantages, allowing them to spread and infect large numbers of other locusts. The researchers say our findings do not prove unequivocally that these bacteria cause locusts to swarm and migrate. They do, however, lead us to propose a new hypothesis: that the microbiome, and specifically the Wasella bacteria, play an important role in inducing the locust's aggregation behavior. I was going to say aggressive behavior, but they're aggregation, coming together. We hope this new understanding will drive the development of new means for combating locust outbreaks, still a major threat to countless people, animals, and plants all over the globe. The professor explains locust swarms that decimate all crops in their path have been a major cause of famine from biblical times to the present. Over the last 3 years, large parts of Africa, India, and Pakistan have been hard hit by locust outbreaks. And climate change is expected to exacerbate the problem even further. Locust swarms form when individual locusts, usually solitary and harmless, aggregate and begin to migrate. However, the causes for this behavior remain largely unknown, and an effective solution is yet to be found. Following recent studies indicating that microbiomes can influence their hosts' social behavior, we hypothesized that locusts' microbiomes may play a major role in their aggregation behavior. Wow, now that's big news. Because when these locusts get together and they're ready to go after you, how are you going to stop them? They're there. The Bible tells us so. And here is the link to the research. Locust research. You can go find that and see what's happening. Well, I believe we are still on Pretzel Rocks as our music station right now. And I'm going to just do this and see what happens. Aha! The API works. I programmed this. Now playing Window by Kromanashi on Pretzel Rocks. So you can click on that link. We don't have that functionality in Slipstream. I've asked them about it, I've asked them for it, and they said their API is not public. But Pretzel rocks. You can find out what song is playing. And sometimes even automatically will just pop up and play. And it sounds like a new song's playing, so let's have a little bit of fun. It is Friday. What is this song? This song is Dans la salle à manger by Satoy. Fun. We have a Discord server, if you're interested. That's the new hot thing, I guess. Or maybe it's the new old thing, but we're just slow. And you can chat with us there. If you have any questions, you can find me, David, at boles.tv is my email address. If you have a question for Janna, her email is janna@boles.tv. And Janna is coming up momentarily, right here on Boles.tv Live, where she will share with you insights into hardcore ASL in a formal lesson. And what are we talking about today? Live TV again. Side shift. The Janna Marie is going to present a wonderful hardcore ASL lesson from a few of our favorite NFT artists. Starting with this from our friend Sabet. What she's going to do is use classifiers and color and form and function to show you how you describe art, NFT art. It's online and virtual, but you can print out copies if you have a printer. How you would describe that art in ASL. So it's NFT art in ASL. This is a new and functional idea that we're working on together, and we'll see if it works, and I have very high expectations for it and anticipation for it. No pressure, because I've seen the rehearsal, and it looks fantastic. So we're going to get ready for our Janna Marie now, and take a very brief break, and she is going to be coming up next, right here, on Boles.tv. Back in a moment. That was a wonderful, terrific, hardcore ASL lesson from Janna Marie, sweetheart. Oh, unpin that message. From Wes Henry and Sabet. And SoulCurryArt. All my favorites. We're getting into the NFT. The first half hour of this show today was all about NFT art and where we're going and how the NFT blockchain is going to revitalize and rebuild and change everything that's going on in the world in which we know it. So thank you so much, Janna Marie, for being here and helping us understand what it means to talk about art combined with American Sign Language. Very interesting, very unique conversation. If you have any questions for Janna Marie, you can email her, janna@boles.tv. If you have any questions for me, you can email me, david@boles.tv. And this is the end of a wonderful week. I will see you again Monday, 9 a.m. Eastern. Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. right here, every day, live. And Fridays, Janna Marie usually stops in and gives us a little lesson in American Sign Language. And as she said, Saturday, Sunday, she's here all by herself at 11 a.m. talking about disability and cats and art and a wide variety of topics. And she types, as you know, so if you don't know ASL or you're learning ASL, you will not be left behind. You will be included with everything that's going on. You can find us on Twitter @DavidBoles. Facebook is BOLES. Boles. On Instagram, we are Boles Books. We are Boles TV on TikTok. And here is our Discord server in case you'd like to join us and say hello there. We're always happy to meet new people. And our video on demand is now also on YouTube. And the easiest way to get there is just type in boles.live. Boles, BOLES.live. That takes you to video on demand, closed captioned. We also have video on demand on Twitch, which has our conversation, our chat, but you have to subscribe in order to get that video on demand. So until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day, a delightful evening, and I hope you wake up, next time you wake up, full of joy, no sorrow, and only songs in your soul. I'll see you Monday.